like holding this with a selfie stick. I may be a little hoarse. I had a procedure recently on my esophagus and some biopsies. So if you could be praying, we want good results. But I want to talk to you about Luke's account today. I'm just going to do a short on the real Christmas story. In Luke's account, talks about how Jesus was wrapped in swaddling clothes. Now, in every painting I've seen in church growing up, we were always taught the swaddling clothes was like a blanket, like you wrap a newborn tight so that they feel secure and they're still in their mother's womb, and it brings security, and there's truth to that. And that's why most people still do it today, even in the hospital. But that's not what Jesus was wrapped in. That word swaddling clothes in the Greek actually describes bandages that were used, like gauze, to wrap the feet of lambs. Now, this makes sense spiritually, kind of metaphorically, because he was the Lamb of God. It also shows that this was the last minute Jesus was born. They were the last to get to the inn. I don't think they were expecting it that night necessarily. And that's why Jesus was not born in a hotel, or an inn, or even a house. He was born, we think of it as a barn today, but actually they use caves as barns. But the focus today is I want to kind of do some myth busting this week on the true story of Jesus. Swaddling clothes was bandages that were used to wrap the feet of the lambs, the newborn lambs, by the shepherds. And so I think this it helps fulfill some prophecies about the Messiah one day being led like a lamb to the slaughter. Notice the first people that were sent to see baby Jesus was not the wise men. We'll talk about some myth busting on that tomorrow. Today the focus is shepherds. Well, the shepherds were shepherds who were very near Jesus' cave, and they were watching over the lambs used for the sacrifices. So it would make sense that Jesus would be wrapped not in clothes, not in a blanket, but in gauze used, or bandages used to tie the feet or wrap the feet of newborn lambs. So they would go in and they go, oh, well, we know that gauze. They would recognize that, well, they used it all the time. And also it makes sense logically because Jesus was born, yes, in a cave, but that's what they used for barns. And so you use what you have. In an emergency situation like that, they weren't in a sterile hospital. They weren't at home with midwives. They were in a barn for all intents and purposes. So they used what they had, and what they had was gauze, swaddling gauze used to tie the feet of the lamb. So I bet you didn't know that, and that's your short from Fully Persuaded today. This week, as we celebrate the birth of Jesus, we're doing some myth-busting shorts. So this is James Popenhagen with Fully Persuaded saying, God bless you as you bless him. Go into this Christmas season putting him first. God bless.